Thank you for stopping by Masks Off, uncovering the latest topics that you need to know about, from business, human trafficking, teen-related issues, mental health and wellness, and everything in between. Stay tuned for your host, Toseika Thomas, keeping it real, honest, and relatable. Welcome to Masks Off, where we discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Mask Off. We are here with Paulishia. She's going to give us tips on managing stress and anxiety, which I'm really excited about because I'm always stressed and I always have anxiety. So, Paulishia, if you don't mind giving us a brief introduction about yourself and who you are.
Sure. So my name is Paulishia Augillard. I am a licensed professional counselor supervisor, marriage and family therapist here in the state of Texas. I am the CEO and founder of Polly Clinical Services LLC. And what we do is we provide virtual mental health training, coaching to physicians who are experiencing stress, anxiety, and burnout. And so I'm so excited to be here with you and just sharing some tips in terms of the things that we come across on a daily basis. And so, yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. So a lot of, with the COVID kind of slowly going away, coming back, gas prices going up. Right now, I'm afraid I'll go in the grocery store and milk is going to be $12, right?
Yes.
And now I don't know why everybody is going like 100 miles per hour. I cannot seem to catch up. So give us some tips on what we can do to catch our breath.
So I'm glad you said that, because one of the things that I am so intentional about is breathing. Do you know that a lot of times when we're moving, our body is responding to that hustle and bustle that we're, experiencing, whether it be, like you said, going to the grocery store, having to move, having to do things on a timeline, on a deadline. You're just going. So it's very important for us to be intentional about taking time to honor the pause, is what I call it. And so honoring the pause is simply taking just a time, maybe 5, it doesn't take you no more than 30 seconds to I'm going to say 2 minutes, to just stop and take a deep breath. And what deep breathing does is it slows the body's blood flow down. And that's really important because, when you're moving and your body is responding to the stimuli and things that's going on around you, sometimes that is what sends us into that panic, because your brain feels like there's something that's wrong, like I'm not safe. So taking a deep breath slows down the body's senses and you're able to think a little bit clearly. And so I know that, if I had more time, we can definitely do an exercise in this. And that's something that I teach my clients, is honoring the pause. So just being intentional about taking time away to take that breath that you need in the moment so that you can slow down, tell yourself that you're safe, that things are okay, so that you can focus on the task at hand. I think that that's important. Like I said, again, whether you're trying to meet a deadline, trying to, rush from here to there, trying to maybe take care of your responsibilities in the home if you have children, or, whatever those things are, honoring the pause and being able to listen to your body in the present moment is very, very important.
Awesome. So a lot of people, they're moving so fast that they don't even realize that their stress or anxiety is kicking in. So what are some signs for us to look for to know that, hey, something's not right?
Sure. So I always say this is that, stress isn't a bad thing. On a lot of levels, we need the stress because it motivates us to, get up in the morning. It motivates, and this is the good stress, right? So it motivates us to get up in the morning and to do the things that we need to do throughout the day. Now, when you're talking about bad stress or those things that can turn chronically, those are the things that negatively impact how we are functioning throughout the day. So For example, I talked to you about how your body responds to the things of hustle and bustle. That's physically, right? And so there are certain areas that our bodies will tell us that we're stressed. So for instance, you might feel, the clammy hands. I hear a lot of clients say that. Your heart rate might palpitate. You might get the fast beat, okay, if you're feeling stressed out. You might also feel like your mind goes blank. Sometimes I hear that from clients, like I don't really have a sense of time because it's your body is doing so much and you're trying to process so many things within that moment, your body just shuts down. Okay. Now that's physical symptoms. Emotionally, you might shut down where you don't want to be around people. So you become, very irritable. Sometimes I hear clients say, I when I'm interacting with other people, I feel like I'm not really understood. And so therefore I'm snapping at them to the point where I just don't want to talk anymore. Okay. So that also is an emotional symptom that you can think about when you're feeling that way is also something else that I want to point out. And I know I'm sort of just talking, in terms of trying to give you the best information. But another thing is recognizing your triggers, right? And so when you are trying to understand how to manage your stress or your anxiety, you have to know what it is that gets you upset to begin with, right? And so that is what I call those triggers. If you are, let's say you're working in a corporate setting, okay, and the environment itself is busy, that could be a trigger for you. And so that taking that deep breath would be something that you need to be very intentional about doing throughout the day because the environment itself makes you all anxious and nervous, right? Okay, so something else that might be a trigger for you is communication, how you communicate, how people communicate with you, the tone of how people talk to you could be a trigger that makes you like, I don't like the way my boss said that, or I don't like the way my coworker asked me that question. So just learning about those different tips, I think is very, very important. And just the beginning foundation of understanding how to become more present in managing your stress and your anxiety. There's tons of information that I could probably give you, which we would be going into a session, but that right there, I think are some great tips for you to start with.
Awesome. So a lot of people do not understand how stress can affect the bodies. So can we talk about the side effects of stress?
Sure. So if you are someone who's very busy and you're not managing your stress, you're not doing the things. So I've talked about self-care, and that's a very big part of managing your stress. So exercising, coming up with your daily routine. So what is your morning ritual that you like to do that's going to prepare you for the day? If we're not managing those things over time, physically, our body shuts down. Physically, you can then see symptoms of high blood pressure, diabetes, and those type of things. So you want to make sure that you are addressing if you find yourself like, hey, I've done the exercise, I've done the self-care, and I am still finding myself overwhelmed. That is your opportunity right then to check in with a mental health professional. Talk to your primary care physician because there might be some other things going on that you're just not aware of. And, nobody knows everything, right? So that is why we have professionals that you can reach out to that's there to help give you the tools and the guidance that you need. But definitely those side effects, you want to make sure that if you're not practicing exercise, if you're not eating right, those are some of the things that can also contribute to stress. Because if I'm drinking caffeine all day long because I'm trying to deal and I don't have time to really sit down and eat like I need to, that over time can cause stress because your heart rate is going. And so, we know physically, if you're not eating right, you're starting to gain weight, which makes you tired, which makes you sluggish, and you're not able to perform like you need to within your environment. So I would say that those are some important side effects that you need to be mindful of.
Okay. And also some side effects that I've experienced personally or witnessed are, people have died from stress. people have, a lot of people don't understand that stress can be one of the factors leading to cancer. So when should we seek medical assistance? Like, when should we talk to our doctor and, like, this is going too far, I'm having nerve problems inside my body? When should we go talk to our doctor about this?
Well, I think it's going to be individualized for every person, because the way you deal with stress is going to be different from how I deal with stress, right? So again, practicing daily those routines. So like, if you are somebody that comes home and you're very, very well adept to exercising and all of that, then your stress levels aren't going to be as high as somebody who is coming home, they're running from one thing to another. They got to get the kid to soccer practice. They have to go and do all of these things that they're responsible for. So I would say that in terms of being in and communication with your primary care physician, we need to make sure that you are checking in, getting those physicals. Okay, that's yearly. And I would say, for women, and we've heard this too, is making sure that we're going and we're getting that woman's well exam, right? So that we can talk about, hey, I've noticed this more about myself within the last month or 2 months. So making sure, because a lot of times we don't go to the doctor until there's something wrong, specifically within the African American community, right? But we need to be more mindful. There's nothing has to be wrong in terms of just doing a wellness check. It's the same thing with therapy, right? You don't have to talk to a professional when you feel like everything is just hit rock bottom, but it also could be just a moment to check in and to process and see, hey, am I thinking about this right? Because you're not the expert, right? So then if you're going in and let's say you're getting your well woman exam, or you're going to your they're getting you that eco exam, I like to say, when you do those type of things, then your primary care doctor can tell you, hey, I noticed that your blood pressure is a little bit elevated, or your cholesterol isn't the way it needs to be. So then we need to change how we're eating a little bit. You wouldn't know that if you're just going along. So putting all of those things in place is all part of your total mental wellness. We need to make sure that we are not just mentally healthy, but also physically checking in and getting those appointments with our primary care physicians.
Awesome. So I'm personally all about yoga, self-love, self-care, meditation,
Yes.
Eating healthy, throwing in some fruits and veggies. But what other tips can we do to reduce our stress and anxiety?
So what I am very keen on is affirmation. So you talked about physically, like mindfulness, and starting your day with a positive affirmation and affirming who you are also reduces the stress, because there are so many different things that come at us throughout the day and throughout the week. If we're not reaffirming what it is that we're trying to do, like setting our intentions for that day or for that week, then we're bound to be stressed. That's part of life, right? You're going to be stressed. But I think that when you are more intentional about saying, hey, I'm well able to take care of what's going to come my way today. I can handle this. I am going to be wonderful in terms of, a lot of times people have to do presentations and things, whether it be Zoom or in a corporate setting, whatever that is that you find yourself affirming who you are is very, very important. And I think that also puts you in the right mindset. When you're around positive people and when you can affirm who you are, that also reduces your stress level.
Okay. Now, we talked about going to the doctor, because we're all about loving our physical self. But let's talk about the mental side, because a lot of times, especially African Americans, we don't like to go to a therapist. They don't know what they're talking about. I'll deal with it on my own. Yeah. But what are some benefits of actually going to seek help from a therapist?
Sure. So just like you said, within the African American community, going to therapy is seen as taboo. Now, we've made great strides, I would say, within the last 10 plus years of getting the message out there and really demystifying the stigma around mental health. But one of the biggest benefits is that going to family members, friends, they're not professional, right? So sometimes you get bad advice from people who their intent is to help you. We're not downing what they're saying, but it's out of their own limited experience.
Right.
You need to be able to talk to somebody who doesn't know you, right? Somebody that can be objective with a fresh set of eyes. And the thing is, when you're going to therapy, it's not to tell you what to do,
Right.
because you're the expert in your own life. It is to reflect back or help guide you in some thinking that you might need some support in, because we all need support. And so I think getting away from that mindset of you're in my business, what happens here stays here, that thought process is what's killing us, right? So if we can connect with each other, just knowing that we have a support system, if I can call that primary care therapist, if I can say, you know, hey, I'm going through this, what are some things or ways that I can get stronger or better, then I'm the more better. Then I'm helping somebody else in my family. I'm then beginning to change that mindset of this taboo that we have within our community.
Awesome. Well, it was great speaking with you today, and I hope we can have you back pretty soon to give us some more tips.
Yes, I would love to.
Life, right? Because everyone, I mean, stress honestly is a part of everybody's life all the time. Either you're in traffic, the grocery store, looking at your bank account. So thank you. And I do look forward to speaking with you again. But before we go, you know, do you have any events? You want to talk about your business? You know, how can we contact you? How can we find you on social media?
Sure. So my business is Polly Clinical Services LLC, and you can connect with me through www.polyclinicalservices.com. And if you want to schedule an appointment, if you're a physician looking for that support, you can definitely email me at info@polyclinicalservices.com. Now, I have, for those couples who are needing a refresher, August the 18th through the 20th of this year, I am hosting a couples relax and restore retreat. And it's going to be in partnership with the San Luis Resort and Spa in Galveston. So you can definitely go. Again, if you follow me on Facebook at Transforming from the Inside Out, you can get the ticket information from there. I'm also on Instagram at theouchcouch. And so I am just looking forward. I'm so excited to what's to come for this latter part of the year, and just continuing to spread the message of being totally mentally healthy and well.
We need that. And if you don't mind, if you can send me that information so I can share it on my social media.
I definitely will.
Okay, so we're going to close out. I want to thank everyone for stopping by to listen to us on Mask Off. I want to thank you for being a guest, and we look forward to working with you soon. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.